Third approach, child protection accompanying with healing families. Of course, we have to remove children who are in trouble and in danger, who are being harmed, who are being abused. There is no question about that. There are some children that are never going to go back with their families, but there are other children whose families can be healed so that they can reunite, and that's what we're going for. Children who are getting in trouble themselves and committing crimes, I think the youth court should have a restorative focus and family involvement rather than a retributive focus, and I think that would be go a long way for youthful offenders. I know that you're going to be getting a new Youth Justice Center, and I would like to see the design and the philosophy of the Youth Training Center be rehabilitative rather than retribution-focused. Right now, as I said, only about half of children removed are ever returned. They're not adopted, and they stay in care until they're 18. Then on their 18th birthday, out they go into the streets, no support, no training, no anything, and they're expected to do well. Well, I'm sure there are kids who do well, and I'm sure there are wonderful foster families who have shown them love and support and discipline and all the things that kids need to grow up and be good contributing members. However, that's not what we usually see. About 80% of the parents who are unable to care for their children have substance abuse or other mental health issues. That, again, is part of the fuel that drives the system. So how much does all this cost South Australia a year? About $136 million. There are children, I don't know how many of you know this, there are children currently living in motels because there aren't enough foster families, and social workers come for 8-hour shifts, 3 shifts a day, 7 days a week, to care for them. And that's what we're doing for foster kids. So I'd like to change the child protection philosophy to move more quickly to find a permanent placement for the children who are never going to be able to be returned to their family, and to provide treatment for the parents that we're just mad at so their children will be returned. I am very excited about an initiative that I hope continues, and I have every reason to believe it will. Canberra and the federal government is very interested in the idea of a unified family treatment court so that cases that involve children, alcohol and other drugs, domestic violence, if they're in family court for proceedings there at the federal level, they can be sent down to the youth court to oversee all their cases, one judge, one family. And the focus would be to get that family healed and ready to take their children back. And the final approach, understanding the third branch of government. Love that quote. Isn't that fun? We have to have education of the public and the media about the justice system. As Gabe Kelly mentioned, the advertiser has been very good to me during my residency. I got here and like 4 minutes later I had a nice profile, and the next day there was an opinion piece, and I've had good media with relations with the radio stations and so forth. And we need to understand, and we need for the media to help us understand what our justice system is about. Civics education aims to increase knowledge about the process and the structure of government. The A-team, and I'll speak more about them in a minute, are going to be making recommendations about how to better communicate from the courts to the public. And again, the use of new media is crucial. Come on. There you go. Who can tell me who that is? Yeah, Larry, Moe, and Curly, the Three Stooges. My Chief Justice, Ron George, says, more people can name the Three Stooges than can name the 3 branches of government. So I want to teach you tonight the 3 branches of government, since you already know Larry, Moe, and Curly. There is the executive branch. That's the premier, the cabinet, the public sector that administers, enforces the law, makes policy. There's the legislative branch, the parliament, both houses, that makes the law. And finally, the judicial branch, where the judiciary interprets the law and adjudicates disputes. So if somebody asks you who are the Three Stooges, you say executive, legislative, and judicial. I had days when I felt like that. Oh, yes. After 21 years on the bench, I don't think there's anything that could surprise me. There are things that could never make me as sad as some of the days and some of the things I saw. So we feel like that once in a while as judges. And the reaction always is, what's to complain? You know, you get the good parking place, you get to wear all the cute robes, except the magistrates, they don't get cute robes. I think they have robe envy, actually. You get the wig. That's very exciting for us Americans who don't do that. I started doing some judicial satisfaction surveys, and the reaction was amazing. Why would you even care if judges were satisfied? I mean, that was really the attitude. So, what's to complain? We deal with complex issues that end up in headline format. It's a soundbite on the news, story at 11 or 10 or 9. I get your channels mixed up here. So we don't really understand what judges are doing because it's complex and it's hard, and we use complex language and we use Latin, just to further, mess things up. So we have to do a better job of communicating. But you must understand as the public why sentences are the way they are, why the process is the way it is, and we have to find a better job of informing you on that. A few years ago, the courts had a project where judges went out and actually did mock trials, and the public attended, and they got to vote on the sentence. And the interesting thing is, the public was actually softer on the criminal who was convicted than the judge's actual sentence was in the case. So this perception of the judges is soft and the public is hard doesn't quite play out when the public has the correct facts. So judicial independence, what does that mean and what does it not mean? The people must have confidence that the judiciary applies the law neutrally and it is not afraid of making unpopular decisions against powerful interests. That's what judicial independence means, according to your former High Court Justice and according to my definitions as well. It is a basic principle of representative government. It's essential for the rule of law. It's what separates us from other countries. In other countries, they fire all their judges and replace them with judges who will vote with them, or they fire at them. They actually kill judges in other countries. I was once asked to go to Colombia for a judicial education program. I said, not so much. I said, they kill judges down there. Are you crazy? I'm not going there. So Pakistan, Fiji, Colombia, other places that do not have a rule of law, do not have an independent judiciary, and we don't want that. We also don't want inefficiencies that should be eliminated or streamlining and modern methods that should be adopted. We want to build trust and confidence and respect for the judicial system, and that takes a combination of the media and public education, as I already said, civics education, better communication from the bench, community input about the justice system planning. One of the things we're talking about is an overarching justice plan, and I'm suggesting that we have community input by holding forums throughout the community. Obviously, there's 800 people here tonight who care enough about this subject to be here with your tummies rumbling, and I'm very aware that they're starting to rumble. And the community is interested, and they have a right to give that kind of input. We also need transparency in all parts of government.